Hi, boys and girls. We're going to move into our next chapter, which is chapter 11. Now, thinking about this is going to be all about geometry and volume. So we're going to start off with definitely some geometry by classifying some shapes. Today's shapes are going to be polygons. This is something that you've talked about in fourth grade as well, but it's, I think, still going to introduce some new concepts to you too. Polygons are any shape that is a closed figure and formed by three or more line segments. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about line segments, which brings us back to our fourth grade days. Line segments are lines that don't have arrows at the end, if you remember that. We always talked about it having 2 points at each end. So all of these shapes up here are built with line segments because they have stopping points at each corner. Now those are called vertices, wherever the line segments stop. Okay, so all of these up here are line segments. Along with that, they all have angles, and angles are formed when two line segments come together. So there's an angle here, right, which is shown there. There's an angle here, formed by these two. And there's an angle here, formed by these two line segments. Along with that, all of these shapes are closed figures. They're closed figures because they don't have any openings. The lines are all connected. Now, the final thing that I want to talk about, I guess the final two things, is the word congruent. Congruent means same size or same measure. So you will see that represented in your Go Math journal and on these slides by tick marks and by curves in the angles. So one way for me to show that all of these line segments are the same size is by giving them the same tick mark. I decided to put one tick mark in each line, and that's showing me again that they are all the same size. A way to show that all of the angles are the same size is by giving them the same curve. I decided to put one curve in each corner, showing that all of the angles are congruent. All of them have the same size. The other cool thing is all three of these pictures are triangles, but they're all different. This one, all three lines maybe seem to be a different size, where in this one, and this one are the same size, but this one is different. So that's why in that bottom example, I gave a tick mark to the two sides because they are equal to each other, they are congruent, but this one got two tick marks because it is different from the other two. Triangles are a type of polygon because it's a closed figure formed by three or more line segments. This one is formed by three, obviously. In our next category, these are called quadrilaterals. You might see some familiar shapes such as a square, a rectangle, and a trapezoid. All three of these are classified as quadrilaterals because it's a polygon formed by four line segments. In our first example, the square, all four sides are congruent. Along with that, all four angles are congruent. This means that they are all the same. So I gave them the same markings because they're all congruent. In the rectangle example, though, the top and the bottom line are congruent with each other, but they are different from the two sides. However, the two sides are the same, so I'm going to give them two tick marks each, showing that the sides are the same, and then the top and bottom are different from the sides, but they're the same as each other. However, in this one, all four angles are congruent. Now, the tricky thing is, in order to be a regular polygon or a regular quadrilateral, it needs to end up looking like the square, where all of the sides and all of the angles are congruent. This one is still a quadrilateral, but it is not a regular quadrilateral because not all of the sides are the same size, however the angles are. Finally, in our last category here, we have what we call pentagons. It's a polygon with 5 line segments. Okay, so this is one example of a polygon because it has 5 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so does this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so when you're thinking about polygons, make sure you're thinking about the number of sides and angles it has, as well as are all of the sides and all of the angles the same. If all of the sides and all of the angles are the same, it is a regular polygon. A regular polygon. If it's not, it is not a regular polygon. It is not a regular polygon. All right, so just some things to keep in mind. Make sure you are using your slides because I put all of the rules that you will need in order to do your work today.